online, and on the TuneIn app. This is the News and Sports Show on Utter Radio.
Hello and welcome to the News and Sports Show here on Otter Radio. Welcome to our millions of viewers around the country and across the world. James Sudworth, joined by Aiden. The studio is unusually quiet and bare this afternoon. It's just the two of us, isn't it, Aiden?
Yes.
But it's quality rather than quantity.
Yeah,
I think we can say, and I think we have a real quality show lined up for you this evening. So, what we're going to be doing is starting off with the news as usual. We're going to be talking a little bit of the situation unfolding in the Middle East. Close to home, we're going to be talking about the by-election in Denton and Gorton. And we're going to be going into sport as well. Aiden has some important news to do with the EFL playoffs, which we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be getting into F1 and a few other various bits of housekeeping as well. So let's get straight into it. So have you been following, as a Manchester local yourself, as a Manchester born and bred resident, have you been following the by-election results, Aiden?
I wouldn't say closely, but I've seen bits and bobs.
Wait, which part of Manchester are you from originally?
North Manchester. So Gorton is a bit south-east, sort of.
Yeah.
It's not my territory, but...
What kind of area would you say that Denton and Gorton is, from what you know?
Well, I think it's always... I just think in terms of Manchester, it's always been like politically, it's always been a red Labour.
A Labour safe?
A Labour safe haven, really.
Yeah.
Well,
we had quite an interesting shock. I don't know if you could call it a shock. We had obviously, it was pitted as Reform against Greens, wasn't it, going into the by-election. Obviously, Matt Goodwin was the Reform candidate, and Hannah Spencer was the Green Party candidate. And I won't tease you, Hannah Spencer won. And she will obviously now sit in Westminster as the MP for Denton and Gorton. I don't know if you know this, Aiden, but the Reform candidate Matt Goodwin, do you know much about him?
Not particularly. No. Go on.
He's a Salford University alumni.
Really?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He studied his masters here. But actually, sorry. Speaking of which. This is something which I meant to say from the beginning of the show, and Aiden will say before we went on air, I should have said, all and any opinions expressed in this show are solely that of myself and Aiden. They're not representative of Utter Radio or the University of Salford. So you can say what you like now. No, that's an important disclaimer to put there. But anyway, yeah, so obviously Labour are now sort of polling in, I believe they're level on the Conservatives nationally, aren't they? They're behind Reform, and I think Reform are polling top from the last YouGov poll I saw. Greens are second. What do you think? What do you make of Greens? They've come quite a long way, and what do you make of the sort of Labour's decisions, which seem to maybe have handed that constituency over to Greens, Aiden?
Yeah, I do think it's the serious decisions that have just gone against Labour. I think Starmer, we spoke about it when it happened, he shot himself in the foot massively, I believe, when he blocked Andy Burnham to run to go back to Parliament, essentially. And now I just think out with the old, in with the new. I think people have almost had enough of the traditional Conservative Labour race. You've got a rise in both populist, left and right, in the Greens and Reform. As you said, 1 and 2 at the moment in the recent polls. I do think it'll be a very tight race. And, I mean, I think Greens have just almost come out of nowhere. After being almost this third string, you would say, not really as serious.
Maybe fourth string.
Fourth string, yeah. I would say people always knew they was there, but they've never been serious in people's eyes. But now they look like it's completely switched. And
yeah, they're looking like something that's electable. And if we have a look at the vote share, Hannah Spencer actually got nearly 41% of the vote share, which is plus 28% change since 2024. So in 2 years, Greens have improved their performance massively. How much do you think that is? And also as well, Reform got 28% of the vote share. I was actually vox popping people in Denton before the by-election. No one was talking about Greens really. Everyone was talking about Reform. Off camera, on camera, people were saying, yeah, I think Reform's going to get in around here. I really do think Reform are going to get in. Some people wouldn't show their face on camera, but they told me that. So it's surprising a little bit to see that they only did marginally better than Labour did, with 25% of the vote share.
I mean, if you just look at Labour, I mean, a minus 25% decrease in what we've seen previously since 2024, it's
quite shocking, really, isn't it? And the Hannah Spence said that I believe that voters have got what they. She said that voters will get what they voted for, and that is something which she and the Greens are going to, I believe, probably going to make a statement. Like I said, there's been a rise in the populist right and left, and I heard the Prime Minister the other day refer to extremism, and for the first time in my lifetime, I heard him refer to a left-wing party as extremist. He told, not voters, but he told party members, his own party members, not to give in to extremists on both sides of the spectrum, whether that be Reform, whether that be Greens. I've never heard a left-wing. I'm so used to hearing just right-wing, further right parties referred to as extreme. I've never heard a left. So that tells me that I believe probably the Prime Minister's running scared. I think Labour's running scared. And I do think it's almost a little bit of a coalition of the centre, the old centrists. Lib Dem did awfully because they only exist as tiny microorganisms do, really. Conservatives did shockingly bad. Talk to us about Conservative, the numbers about the Conservatives.
So they had a 1.9% vote share at the Gorton and Denton by-election, down 6% since 2024. I don't think there was ever going to be anything special happening with the Conservatives because I mean the public just lost complete faith in anything they can do, and I know Kemi's trying to almost rebuild the trust with the British public, but particularly in Gorton and Denton in the north and in Manchester, the Conservatives have never really done well. No,
and in this period of malaise for them, where they are going through a really troubling time for the Conservative Party, it's looking like I say, it's looking like an alliance between the old-fashioned centrists, Labour, Conservative, Lib Dem, between these new, not new parties, but because Green is in a new party, but these alternative parties, which are really outflanking them. Greens are very much outflanking Labour, Reform are very much outflanking Conservatives on the right, and when it comes to sort of the debate between right and left, we're seeing that not just in our domestic politics, but we're seeing it in our international affairs as well, particularly in the Middle East. And so I think that's been dominating the news, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's going on in Iran. So it began on Saturday the 2nd. I'll just get my notes ready for that. But it began on the Saturday the 2nd of March. The US and Israel went to war. I beg your pardon, it began on the 28th of February, earlier. It began with, the USA and Israel targeting Iranian cities, so Tehran, Isfahan and Kermanshah were all attacked. We had RAF Akroti in Cyprus was also, the runway was bombed in a drone strike, and on Tuesday, the first bit of what it looks like British involvement in the Middle East, HMS Dragon was sent to the Mediterranean to bolster security, especially around Cyprus, to protect our interests in the RAF base there. What do you make of the Prime Minister and the government's lack of... They're not very hawkish. They don't seem to want to involve us in this war, in this conflict? What does it look like to you?
To me, it looks. I think it's been a very poor response in terms of almost help your allies. Even if you don't have to get involved, just show you're there.
Yeah.
Show your willingness to be ready. And I feel like we've just lost trust with our allies. It's been such a poor response. I mean, the one that sent me over the edge was they didn't even let them use Diego Garcia, which is part of the Chagos Island, which has its own controversy.
This is the Britain not allowing the US to launch strikes off that island.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're referring to. And do you remember what Trump said about Keir Starmer?
He said many things over the last week.
Yeah.
But he said that he's no Winston Churchill.
No Winston Churchill, yeah, which is, if you think about what Winston Churchill brings to mind, sort of powerful, bulldogish, decisive, a bit of a warmonger. He's basically saying that Starmer doesn't have...
A bit like Trump himself.
I suppose, well, yeah, I guess you could say. It's certainly someone who wants to get into the thick of things. He's saying that Starmer has no stomach for a fight, basically. I believe that I'm interpreting what he's saying.
Yeah.
But I believe that's what he's saying.
I think so, and I think he's got evidence to back that up now. It's not within Britain's national interest to go and start bombing Iran.
You're not saying that they should do that right now?
No. I'm saying that when RAF Akrotiri got bombed, I'm saying the response should have been quicker, it should have been more decisive, and we should have intercepted. Because I think Keir Starmer is so short-sighted. It's the fact that the 28th of February, Israel and the US launched a joint attack. He said, "Okay, we've got nothing to do with this. We're not even going to let you. We're not letting the US use our bases to go from." And then all of a sudden, they've come to an RAF base and bombed an RAF base.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh wait, I didn't expect this. I'm now going to have to get involved in some capacity."
Yeah.
And it's almost the fact that he didn't let the US start, because if he would have let the US go from Diego Garcia and other bases in the region, he could have potentially stopped the bombing of Akrotiri in Cyprus.
Absolutely. I mean, what damage might this have done to the special relationship? We've got a quote on our screen. Do you want to read it out, Aiden?
Yeah, so the US President Donald Trump criticised on a phone call to the Sun newspaper. He criticised Keir Starmer, saying that it's very sad to see that the relationship is obviously not what it was, adding that Sir Keir had not been helpful, adding he never thought I'd see that from the UK.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting statement there, because historically, Britain and America haven't gone into every single war together. You think of Vietnam in the 70s, you think of 60s and 70s, you think of the Suez Canal earlier on in the 50s, you think of when the US invaded Grenada, I believe, in the 80s.
Well, there's been countless examples. I mean, from World War II in 1945, there's been countless examples, the big ones being Vietnam, Iraq, Libya, all US operations, and the British have gone there and sent men on the ground to almost do the cleaning up and join the American forces.
Britain wasn't involved in Vietnam. Britain wasn't involved in it. Iraq and Libya, you're correct. They weren't involved in Vietnam. But you are right though. They did. Britain was. I think that's the kind of Afghanistan as well. Yeah. Was a very post 9/11 conflicts of Iraq, I beg your pardon, and Libya. And obviously, do you remember when we were younger, the strikes on Syria because of the Islamic State? That was US. That was coalition. US and Britain were involved in that. So there have been, historically, like you said, there have been very close examples. But what I'm trying to say is Britain hasn't, and I don't necessarily think there should be an obligation to follow the US into every single conflict that they get into.
No, absolutely not. And I made the point just then how we shouldn't be going all guns blazing bombing Iran because it's not in our interest.
No.
It's in our interest to defend our bases in Cyprus and help and let the US use our bases they are our strongest, as they are probably our closest ally.
Your first point, I couldn't agree more with. RAF, the RAF base in Cyprus, it's British sovereign territory. We're effectively defending our home, pretty much. It's part of. Yes, it's on Cyprus, but it comes under our jurisdiction. It's our territory. Any attack on our base in Cyprus is an attack on British security, pretty much.
Yeah.
And actually, I've in my notes here. Earlier today, there was a press conference. The Prime Minister has said that 4 fighters are on their way to the Middle East as well, which kind of makes you think it's. Do you mean? Come on, like, surely you would have done that before when everything hit the fan.
Yeah, he's 2 steps. Yeah. Usually you call people for being 2 steps ahead, or you never say 2 steps behind. I think he's 2 steps behind.
I think he may very much be two steps behind, and also as well. And this is on a slightly different note, but I put it down as repatriation flight. That's not quite right. More like the rescue flight, the chartered flight to bring stranded British citizens back home from the Middle East. Because obviously some people, it was complete. They weren't even involved in going to the Middle East. I heard a story on BBC News the other day about a bloke who had been on holiday in Australia and he was coming back, and the flight went through the Middle East, and in the diversion and what have you, it got stranded. He got stuck in the hotel. So it's been a bit of a mess up. The flight's back, but on Wednesday there were some issues, but they're coming back home now. British citizens are coming back home, so that's something that we can give credit to the government for. That managed to bring our British nationals back. But what do you make of sort of the morality of the war, the aims of the war to topple regime? What do you make of that?
If you want my honest opinion, then I'll say it's never the perfect solution, and I'm not justifying what they've done. However, I'm going to explain it for our viewers in a simple term, so you don't have to understand politics for this. But I'm going to explain it in simple terms, and I've used this metaphor a few times this week. So essentially, it's like a school, okay? Or a university, whatever you want. It's a school or a university, and you've got the head teacher, and you've got the kids in the class. The kids in the class are so in particular you've got one child in the class who's, let's say, mentally ill, or he's got problems. Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening.
And this child's been threatening other kids in his class. He's saying, one day I'm going to bring a knife into school and I'm going to start problems with all of his classmates. And then one day, this was the 28th of February, he said, I'm going to bring the knife in tomorrow. I've nearly got it ready. And the head teachers had him at the gate. He said, nope, you're not doing that. The next day, and he said, nope, you're not doing that. Permanent isolation for good. In this scenario, Trump is the head teacher. Iran, Ayatollah, is the child, and all of his classmates are the Gulf states.
Can I back for the other side?
Go on.
So, this was almost the exact same reasoning as the justification to invade Iraq back in 2003. Saddam Hussein in your analogy was the mentally ill child, and President Bush and Tony Blair was the headmaster and the assistant head teacher, right? The Iraq war probably destroyed Tony Blair's legacy, absolutely destroyed it. He's still very much his government, he was forced out of office basically on the back of that. The Iraq War is regarded as one of the biggest mistakes in modern world history. Would you not argue that there are shades of Iraq about this? And do you think that they have to be very careful? Because remember, and I will get onto some things which back you up in a moment, but do you think that they have to be careful that Iran doesn't become the new Iraq?
Yes. However, I think this point will justify this. What they've started is the fact that if we was in this situation next year and Iran had a nuclear weapon, oh my God, it would be worrying times for everybody. Because you've seen, nobody thought they was going to attack the Gulf states. Nobody thought that. In all the, because they're literally just throwing the kitchen sink at everything now. They've got nothing to lose. Imagine if they had a nuclear bomb. Just imagine that.
Yeah, it could be catastrophic.
Trump's gone now. This is the best way I put it. Trump's gone now, and he's had the courage to go now to, in the future, protect us all in the West.
Yeah, well, that we do have to move on. We could talk about this all day because there's so much to get into. But we are going to move on to. We still have a few minutes to talk about news, so we're going to discuss student loan is what's next. So John Blake, who was formerly of the Office for Students, said that many graduates who took out student loans feel that they got an incomprehensibly unfair deal that they did not understand and they did not escape. Pause. Do you understand student loan?
Well, yes, I have a student loan.
No,
I understand
do you understand it?
Go on, explain.
No, that's a genuine question. Do you understand it?
Oh, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really until this afternoon.
Okay.
Because I assume you were giving talks on it in sixth form, weren't you? And all that kind of stuff. Most people are, but I saw a quite worrying BBC headline today, which is saying that the student loan is being compared in sixth forms, being taught sixth forms who want to go to university. It's being compared to like a £30 a month phone contract.
Yeah.
And that the two.
Do you know what they told us? It's a tax that you won't even notice. But I'm not one of. I don't just listen. I go and read up on stuff.
Well,
I know what I'm getting myself into before I sign any deal.
A tax you wouldn't notice. Maybe a tax which. Well, you started uni after 23, so you're on Plan 5, which means that for you, when you start earning over £25,000 a year before tax, you'll have to repay the 9% that you earn, which is above £25,000. So let's say, for example, you are earning £30,000 a year, and so you minus that from 25,000, which is £5,000. 9% of £5,000, £450 per year, which is about $37.50 a month. That's how much you'll pay once you get if you say you earn £30,000 a year. That was your salary. For me, that would be. Let me find out, because I'm an old man, so I started uni before 2022 on a Plan 2. So
you're the one in real trouble.
Apparently I'm in real trouble. Yeah. So when I earn over £27,295 a year before tax, repayments will stop automatically if my income drops below the threshold. I still pay 9% of what I earn above that, 27,000. Let's call it 27,300, just for the sake of ease. So let's say I earn £35,000. £35,000 take away 27,295. That's £7,705. 9% of that is £693.45 per year. So I'd be paying roughly about £60 a month to repay student loan. But the worrying part is the interest. That's what's worrying people.
It wouldn't be. See, this whole thing wouldn't be a controversy if you was paying back what you borrowed, but you're not, because of the ridiculous interest on it. Honestly, go and explain it to the.
Well, yeah. So basically, on Plan 2, whilst you're studying, It's RPI, which is retail. Do you remember what that stands for? Retail something.
RPI is a
Sorry, I can't remember.
price index.
Retail price index. Thank you. Plus 3%. So the retail price index plus 3%. So after graduating, if I earn under £27,000, it's just RPI. If I earn over to £27,000 to £49,000, it's RPI up to 3% on a sliding scale. And earning over around £50,000, it's RPI plus 3%. So basically, what that boils down to is that the interest on Plan 2 loans can be very, 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 very high compared to Plan 5 and previous plans, basically. So like you say, you can end up paying much more than what you borrowed, essentially. That's what the row is about. That's what people are upset about, in essence.
Yeah. I just think, I honestly just think, right, you take out a loan when you're 18 years old to get your education, and let's be honest, you're not going anywhere. You're going to pay the money back. I've seen some situations where it's currently 9,535 each academic year, and most uni degrees last 3 years. For an undergrad, that is. So that's what is it like? Roughly 30,000, bit under 30,000 there.
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly under 30,000. And I've seen situations where people get to like 50,000 because of the interest, and they're just constantly paying off.
Yeah, well,
paying off more than they initially borrowed.
Someone I was in contact with to do a story on student loan was saying that once in total, they're probably going to pay back twice, if not 3 times the amount that they borrowed in the end.
Yeah.
Which is, so they're saying that they, I think people's experience really ties into this well, because they're saying that their university experience is really average, and they were in uni for 4 years because they deferred a year midway due to COVID, which is another thing we could get into. Have you seen that people are trying to make claims because of their experience at COVID, their experience of going to university during COVID? Yeah, have you seen the news on that? People trying to make claims and get compensation for it
because it wasn't what it was promised.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also as well, they're saying that because of COVID, they were forced to do an extra year because they deferred due to the pandemic, and ended up paying for year 4. And they say, whilst it's not really their gripe, it's not really their issue, it's just the idea that now they're paying 3 times fees plus APR, and then the interest altogether. That makes the interest
just ridiculous.
So, as I say, they make enough to be in a higher rate tax band, and I pay my 9% student tax on top, and the interest is still double what I've paid off this year. That's what they're saying. That this year the interest is double what they've paid off already. So you're like on this treadmill. You're trying to pay off your original debt, and then you're trying to pay off the loan on top of it.
Just a never-ending cycle.
Can I make a suggestion? This might be controversial.
Go on.
Scrap student loans altogether. Make higher university education free. Throughout the United Kingdom.
Does the government have the money to do that?
They're doing Scotland, and it's been doing perfectly fine for years.
Yeah. Do you not think, though, I'm just going to play the other side, that's not sustainable? It's quite literally impossible in this current economy. Have you seen, because even top universities, I know University of Sheffield and lots of other universities have had to cancel courses.
Yeah, I
and
think
staff courses.
You have a great point. I don't think it is now. I think before COVID, there was a real opportunity. Around the time when the coalition government came in the early 2010s, there was a real opportunity to do that. Because my reasoning is you make higher education free for everyone, right? The government fund it centrally, as well as commercially universities can find other ways of generating income as well. But you fund that, and once people get degrees and they get masters or doctorates. They can get into the higher paying jobs. They can get into the highest paying positions. You've got a booming
higher tax
workforce.
bracket means you're paying more back anyway. So
you're paying more. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. You'll end up making more back. But anyway, that's just my suggestion. It is past now, so we're going to move on to the sport. Do we have our little sports thing back? No. Right. Moving on. Do you want to do the sport? Let's do the sports thing for us, Owen.
the sports thing.
Sports thing. This is utter sport.
There we go.
There you go. So we're moving on. Let's get to a little roundup in the Premier League. So our headline game was Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal getting 3 points on the road again, this time at the expense of the Seagulls. So Arsenal, they've come under more scrutiny for their haramble tactics.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
The dark arts.
Yeah.
They're accused of time wasting again at Brighton. And what is it? What do you make of all this ruckus with time wasting, set pieces, haramble, Arteta, whatever you want to call it, going on in the Premier League? Is it that bad?
Yes, it's got worse and worse and worse
Is
over
it
the last
though?
years.
Is it?
I mean, don't get me wrong, time wasting has always been a thing.
Yeah.
It's always been a thing, but I think to the extent it is now is ridiculous. I think my theory is that the team at the top of the league, who've seen the best team in the Premier League, lead trends and then other teams follow. I think when Pep came in and revolutionised English football, every team, like Stoke, you had Stoke and Southampton trying to play out from the back. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
The team at the top of the league always led the trends and everything. When Jurgen came in and eventually won the Premier League, then all the teams started gegenpressing and high pressing and jumping and, all these sort of things and almost playing a bit more direct. And then now you see it where Arsenal have come in and they're dominating the Premier League at the moment. And we've gone, instead of flexing the muscles and showing how much of a great team they are on the ball, they rely on set pieces, including corners, long throws, and that's why it's become such a big thing, is because the team at the top of the league leads the trend and they just follow.
Well, Fabian Hertzler seems to agree with you. He said that if they win, no one asks how they win when they deserve to win it, but in the end we have to make the limits, or the Premier League has to make the limits. I'll compensate for his English. The Premier League has to put limits on this, basically. Where will it go in the future? That's my question. Where will this go? He says one game, you play 60 minutes, and then you play against Arsenal, only play 50 minutes, so it's a 10 minutes difference. Is this what the supporters are playing for? Do you get my point? I think what his point is, the ball in play.
Well, it was that. I mean, according to Opta,
He talked about the time the ball's in play, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, as much as you want to say, 50 minutes, 53 minutes, because according to Opta, the ball was in play for actually 53 minutes and 58 seconds, which post-match I don't think he would have had a stop clock on that. But you get the point. It was certainly lesser than previous games.
Marginally lesser.
Yeah.
Not a great deal lesser. And also as well, he also went on to say at the moment, I have a feeling Arsenal are doing their own rules, no matter how they win. I'll never be that kind of manager who tries to win that way. I was about to say, nonsense. That is complete and utter rubbish. I'm sorry.
What's rubbish about that?
That is seagull poo.
What?
He's dropping seagull poo everywhere.
What is rubbish about that? Go on.
Right.
So let's break it down.
Yeah,
So,
what's rubbish about it? Firstly, no one will...
Let me break this down.
Go ahead.
At the moment, I have the feeling that Arsenal are doing their own rules. Right, we'll break that down.
No, they're not.
Have you watched Arsenal's corner routine? Where they literally play WWE, Royal Rumble it until it goes in the net?
In which case, referees should blow. If they're doing it unfairly, it's up to the refs to say, hey, no, too much pushing and shoving. If the ref doesn't blow to his whistle and give a foul, Arsenal have every right to do what they need to do to score. They've got every... If the players are just stronger and are being trained to stay within the law of the game, not give away fouls, but jockey for position, hold the ball and hold their space and be strong, it's not their fault that all the players around them are just weaklings. And I'm saying that as someone who, look, I'm an Aston Villa supporter. Villa this season have been a victim of Arsenal's set pieces. And it's not,
like everyone else.
like everyone else. It's not Arsenal's fault that all opposition players are just made of custard and can't stand up to them.
Nicholas Jova will be the downfall of English football. You've heard it here first.
And then this part is egregious. I will never be that kind of manager who tries to win that way.
No, that's just his personal opinion. And I think lots of other managers have a way of playing. They stick to that. See, because it's about philosophy and mentality, and it's if you as a manager and even as a person are willing to just win, or are you willing to win playing your way, or are you just willing to win and just to win and to win, or is the play style and the way you do it, the journey, is that more important? And that's down to the character of the managers. For example, like Pep Guardiola has mentioned many times over the years that he says that almost like his team has to play with the ball. He doesn't care. They can lose, they can win, but if they play in his way, then they can always take positives out of it. And I think Hertzler is that sort of character as well. Whereas, I mean, you've got like characters like Mourinho who would change his game plan up week to week depending on the opponents, and he'd just want to win. I mean,
Mourinho's won pretty much every honour there is to win. Certainly in English football.
Yeah.
And abroad as well. He won the Champions League with Porto.
I don't think we should compare Arteta to Mourinho though, because Mourinho played with teams who had a much lesser budget than what Arsenal have spent over the last 5-6 years.
Yes, this is true, but winners are winners. If Arsenal win the league this season...
1 second, winners are winners. Can you recount what's Arsenal won under Arteta?
Nothing. But I'm saying if they do win the league this season, I'm saying winners are winners.
Yeah,
if they do.
Of course.
If they don't, then yes, they will look like clowns. But
I think it's more just the aesthetic of it.
Yeah. But I can't fault them for trying. I mean, okay. Let's talk about the rules, shall we, Aiden? What we got here?
So this is IFAB. They introducing new rules for the 2026 World Cup, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And then it'll maybe coming onwards after that in domestic football. So throw-ins and goal kicks. They're basically... So the rule is that if the referee considers that a throw-in or goal kick is taking too long or being deliberately delayed, a 5-second visual countdown will be initiated. If the ball is not in play at the end of the countdown, the throw-in will be awarded to the opposing team, while a delayed goal kick will result in a corner kick being awarded to the opponents.
I think it should result in a penalty.
Imagine the chaos with that. Imagine.
What else have we got? Time-limited substitutions. Which is to further streamline match flow. Subs players must leave the field within 10 seconds of the substitution board being displayed, or where there is no sub board, the referee signal. Should the player fail to leave within 10 seconds, they must exit the field, but the substitute will not be permitted to enter until the first stoppage after 1 minute running clock has been elapsed following the restart. Basically, they have 10 seconds to get off the field, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how I understand it. I like that. I think that's sensible.
Can I? So this is to combat time wasting.
Yeah.
And if you listen to Utter Radio regularly, you'll know on Tuesday breakfast, where I'm on another show with producer Charlie, and we was having this debate around time wasting and these rules that have essentially come in. Now I'm going to propose something to you, and do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I think the solution to this time wasting nonsense is that we almost play, and it's seen in other sports like rugby, where if the ball's gone out, the referee stops his watch, stops the clock until the ball's back in.
I don't know why that isn't in football. I've been thinking that for years and years and years. Probably since I was old enough to think about the real deep questions of life, like why doesn't the clock stop in football when it does in rugby? No, I completely agree with you.
Thank you.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, because I'm going to make my case now. Because, for example, the time-limited substitutions, what they're introducing, where should they fail to get off within 10 seconds, then it'll be a running clock. Yeah, so I think that's you're saving 10 seconds there. But for example, on a goal kick, you just because the clock's still continuous, it's running. So the goalkeeper, he'll get his towel behind the goal, he'll clean his gloves, and then he'll go and get the ball, and then he'll start kicking the posts, and then he'll place the ball down.
Yeah,
he'll do a fake run up, tie his laces. These are all out of the Arteta playbook, by the way. And then it's 2 minutes have gone. So when you
have you seen them purposely miss kick as well? Have you ever seen that one? I saw that.
Where they almost like accidentally.
Yeah, take a swing and then they have to go through the whole routine again.
Yeah,
it's like a magpie, like a superstition dance that they have to go through before launching the ball forward.
But my point is this: that you're trying to save 10 seconds on substitutions. There's a lot more areas where you can save a lot more time. For example, that you save 2 minutes by saying, get on with the game, or just the easy solution, really, is just to stop the clock.
Well,
like every other sport.
If you stop the clock, then automatically time wasting goes out the window. You force staff to play, whether you like it or not. Because
that's what I mean.
You can't. Exactly. No, that's really sensible. Shall we move on to another match that happened last night at the top of the table? Manchester City.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. I actually was nearby the Etihad last night, so I could hear the City fans.
Where was you?
I was at the Abraham Moss Sports Centre.
Okay.
And you could faintly hear the roar of the Etihad in the background.
Yeah.
Then it went mysteriously quiet. Forest. Actually, you would have watched this. Do you want to talk us through what happened here?
Well, yeah, I was at the game last night. It was a tough one to take for City, but also one where they had it coming. I mean, it was so frustrating watching in the home end.
Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it?
The solution, basically, what happened was we started quite well. Forest came on to us. Obviously, they've got pretty much nothing to lose coming to the Etihad. Not expecting anything out of it. They come with a pretty high press actually under the new manager, and we played out of it very well. We played out of it, got through the lines, and then I just noticed a trend. As soon as we got to about halfway, got beyond the halfway, Forest were retreating, and City almost just stopped. And there was a lack of runners, there was a lack of movement, and there was a lack of pace.
Have you been frustrated with Manchester City's season?
No, because we've had some good moments this season. Don't get me wrong. I think. I just think.
What do you think, honestly?
See, it's right, because I've watched a lot of City's games, and 1 week they can be so good, and they play 3-0. I remember a game in December. They played 3-0 against Sunderland, and absolutely played them off the park. I mean, it was an unbelievable performance. The flares, the pace, dynamic, running forward, aggressive, even in defence, aggressive, and then some games like last night, you just think, I don't know whether it's on Pep, because I would never blame Pep for anything at City because of what he's done. However, when you get to the 80th minute and you're 2-2 in a title race and you need to win the game, you've got Savinho and you've got Marmoush on the bench. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not picking Savinho to come on in that situation. And I feel bad for him, because he's been slated over the last probably few months, but he's just not good enough. And I think it's not just on him as well. It's just the whole team just almost stops. They almost just stop when they get to they just pass round the edge of the box. I mean, Forest, I'll give it them, defended well, and they earned their point. I mean, 2 brilliant goals. Did you watch the game?
No, I didn't.
It was the first one was it was like a back heel. Oh,
Gibbs White.
Yeah. And then Anderson just outside of the box. He's curled it right into the bottom corner. I mean, it was a brilliant finish. But
Well, Charlie's highlighted a question. Is this on the wind up a little bit? Do Manchester City need to see out games the Arsenal way?
no,
Does the City need to play Haramble?
no, because it's not City's way, and I think this almost stems back to the conversation we was just having about Hurtzler and play your way, and I think while Pep is more open to it these days, because before he was very rigid, he was a very strict system of, no, we're sitting on the halfway line, and he's almost adapting a bit more now because you have to, and I don't think they'll ever get to that point where it's like, everyone in your own net essentially, like Arsenal do it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But now they go 7 points clear. With City still have a game in hand though.
Yeah.
And that trip to the Etihad as well to come for Arsenal.
Yeah.
As well as the cup final.
Well, we have got more coming up. We're going to be talking about Formula One in just a moment. But before we do, let's just take a quick tour to the foot of the table very quickly, because it's really getting tight down there. 29 games played. Tottenham play one tonight against Crystal Palace. How about this? 1 point separating producer Charlie's West Ham with the mighty Tottenham Hotspur, who are 16th place. A single point as it stands, because obviously they beat Fulham last night, and then we had Forest got their point. What do you make of this relegation battle? It's probably the tastiest we've had in years, isn't it?
It's certainly up there because of the stature of the clubs that face relegation. I mean, I would say now Burnley and Wolves are down. I mean, I think that's all but secured with 8 games to go.
Well, Wolves. I agree, Wolves are down, but they're making a mission to ruin everyone else's season.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job of it as well.
I hate them. I do. I've suspend my bias for a moment. Because they beat Villa the other day, and then my brother's a Liverpool fan, and he was saying he got beat by Wolves, banned to FC, blah blah blah, and then they beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
A week later, so we're both talking about how much we
hate Wolves.
Burnley are gone.
Burnley, I think, are gone now.
Probably the most silent team in the league this season.
9 points behind with is that nine games to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like I said, the stature of the clubs, and you've got Spurs, Forest, and West Ham, who are all massive clubs.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was speaking to someone before the show about this.
Yeah.
And I think Spurs are the worst of the 3 teams at the moment.
Yeah.
When you watch them,
probably and in the form table as well. Actually, Charlie's highlighting Leeds on 31.
I think Leeds are safe.
I think they're out. I agree. I think they're out of it. I think it does stop at Spurs for me. I think Leeds will continue to motor on and will get to 35, 36 points.
I mean...
Yeah, it's a 3-point gap. Like, on the screen...
With Leeds.
On the screen, Charlie's highlighted that it's only a 3-point gap between the bottom 3 and themselves in 15.
I just think the performance levels of Leeds and the fact that they can play at Ellen Road. I mean, like, Tottenham's home form is atrocious. They literally call it 3-point lane for a reason. Forest, yeah. I mean, with the new manager, they look a lot better. I think they'll be safe now, and I think it's actually between the 2 London clubs.
Do you know
Although
what?
We've got a long way to go.
We have, but I'm going to stick my neck out and say I think West Ham could stay up on the last day. I think Forest could get 16th, and I do think Spurs could go down.
It's a genuine possibility.
Spurs are just seem to be so cursed, so poisoned at the moment. No one can do a good job there. Anyway, let's get on to the last item of the show, which is the Formula One. It begins in Australia.
Yeah.
This Sunday.
Yes.
At 4:00 in the morning. Will you be watching?
This all depends on work, because I've supposedly got a trip to Workington, which is, if you don't know, in the back ends of Cumbria on Sunday morning.
Of Cumbria.
So, yeah, it potentially, if I'm not going, but if I am, I think it'll have to be a highlight from me. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's gonna go out. Obviously, we've got new teams, new drivers, new rules.
Yeah, do you want to talk us through the new drivers very quickly?
Well, I'll take you through the new teams. You've
go
got
ahead. Yeah, that's the logical place to start.
Audi is coming into Formula One alongside Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think. What do you make of the decision to expand? Do you think it's?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's good, and also as well, we've got some big names in there as well in terms of car brands. Obviously Audi and Cadillac, alongside McLaren and Mercedes.
I mean, these are sports cars, aren't they? These should be involved in the pinnacle of.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Motorsport.
And do you know what? I'm looking at the cars. What I like about the cars is they've got a bit more. They've got some personality about them to actually look at. They're not all the exact same sort of. Obviously, I know they've all got the halo and what have you, but there's a little bit of shape. You can see different. The engines in them are slightly different.
Well, yeah, that's a part
in a lot of cars.
That's a part of the new rules. The cars this year are smaller for one, lighter by I think roughly about 30 kilos, and they're also thinner as well.
Is it sort of trying to go back to a little bit of that sort of golden age of the sort of 90s F1?
Yeah, well, I think they've only ever got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're actually
bloated is the word I would use.
Yeah,
the cars are fat in the last few seasons.
I mean, have you been up close with them?
I haven't, no, but I can see from the TV they're huge. They're like whales.
I've been up close with the modern Formula One cars, and they are just ginormous. I mean, they're ridiculous. And then when you go back to like the older ones, like you said, that Schumacher would have raced in.
Yeah.
Some all-time legends, and you just think the size difference, it's a completely different ball game. But they are going back to that. If you want to tell the audience, so we got some of the specifics on the rules. We don't want to get too technical.
No. We keep it light.
Yeah. So the first one here we've got is the distance between the front and rear axle, which is at the front of the car, which affects the wings. 200 millimeters shorter than last year, 3,400 millimeters instead of 3,600, creating what drivers have been calling a nimbler car than in 2025. The cars are also narrower, with 100 millimeters taken off the width of the floor, and the tyres adding to that. The front tyres are 25 millimeters narrower than last year, and rears have been reduced in width by 30 millimeters. I think it just...
And they're lighter as well. We won't get into all the weight.
We don't need to go too much.
They are lighter. They are lighter due to different things being removed from the engine and so forth.
Yeah, I mean so
they should be faster.
It's a pretty much 50-50 engine this year, I believe, between electric and non-electric. I think it's pretty much that at this point. It should make, with the reduced width in the floor as well, should make for different types of racing, different styles. I think it's almost more versatile, and because the cars are smaller, hopefully we get more overtaking, which I know has been a criticism of maybe having the bigger cars in where you can only use DRS and it's so over-reliant, which is another rule that's changed as well.
Yeah, so drag reduction system, which is DRS, has been replaced with overtake mode.
Yeah.
And this allows the driver to recharge an extra plus 0.5% MJ and to generate an additional electrical power profile, which means that they can sustain a high speed for a longer period.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's a good idea, because obviously drag reduction system was... You had to build up speed and then get into position in order for it, because it was useless otherwise.
Yeah, and I think now, they can go into cornering mode as well, and then it's more versatile for sure. And then when you got out onto the straights, the wing still opens up, which is what the old DRS system did.
So very quickly, we have to wrap up now. Who's your favourite? What's your early predictions? I'll rattle through them quickly. Who is the favourite for the race season?
Yes. I think probably Piastri. I think Oscar Piastri is going to be up there this year. I think he got close last year. And yeah, my heart's with Lewis Hamilton, but I don't know with these rule changes. We have to wait and see.
Yeah. Do you think Hamilton will rise again, or do you think this is the end for him pretty much?
I hope so. I hope these new rule changes can can
assist
benefit him in any way.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, some breaking news coming through very quickly. England have lost to India in the T20 Cricket World Cup semi-finals. So, sad violin music.
I mean, to be honest, I expected it.
Yeah.
I did expect it.
Yeah.
However,
Well,
it's a good run.
As the great Jeremy Clarkson say, on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. Take care. See you again next week.
Thank you.
Online and on the TuneIn app, this is the News and Sports Show on Utter Radio.